And that might not be the most comfortable thing, but you're going to need to be able to do that tonight. So it's better if we just all appreciate that we're in the same boat there. So it is the 12th. Now, Madam did say we have missed a couple due to COVID, but here we are. And it's amazing. I was just stood there watching the slideshow here, and one of the images that came up was this picture of John Hanson School, the hedge outside John Hanson School, rainbow shooting through the sky, and a banner on the hedge, which was made by the kids. And ladies and gents, it was the day after. It was the morning after Jamie passed away. And that image I haven't seen for a very long time. When I saw that image, it took me straight back to that moment. And I think it would be crazy if I heard anybody say this, and I'm sure that you might feel that it might be the same for you. But I was smiling then, and I was smiling tonight when I saw that, because I think we all go through things in life. We all go through ups and downs, but one thing is for sure, once things happen, we can't change them. It's then what we do next, and it's how we think and how we move and how we speak afterwards that really shapes how we feel day to day. So I'm very grateful, and I would only be able to say this, I really, really believe this would only be possible due to the overwhelming amount of support that we had back then. Friends, family, kids that went to school with my brother. And that love that was around us, and those of you that were kind of in amongst it back then will remember that. It was really special. And to think that it's evolved into this now, it's the same language. It's the same thing. It's just a different setting, it's a different scene, and it's 2023, not 2009. So from the bottom of my heart, something that I probably waited later on to say, I'm just extremely thankful for everybody to be here from a personal level. Forget chairman of the charity, just brother of Jamie. I'm just very, very grateful for all of you to be here. So thank you. So on the topic of thank yous, I want to just give a big shout out to a few more people that deserve the acknowledgement before we get stuck in. First of all, Jane and her staff at Andover Buffets. Granted, we haven't eaten yet, but it is amazing, and they are amazing, so thank you. Feel free to whoop and clap them. Also to Louisa and the staff, the events organiser, helping mainly my mum to sort this out for us today. Give them a round of applause. To Chris, Gary and the team at Runaway Train, the band. Give them a little shout out as well. Rob and the staff and the lights for this evening. To the young lads, Charlie and Ben, that many of you have probably already spoken to. Takes a lot of guts to speak to adults when you're your age, so well done. Bright futures and all that. And I also want to say a massive thank you to anyone and everyone that donated their time or some sort of service or product to our fantastic raffle and auction list, which, if you've had a look already, it's pretty impressive. There's a lot on there, and that wouldn't be possible without people giving to us in order to make that happen and allow us to have an exciting, fun night. So a big round of applause for them as well. I promise the cadence of clapping will now subside, so you can rest your arms a little bit and just, chill. So who's in the room tonight? Adam did ask, I want to see it. Hands up, even if it's here, if this is your first time at one of these ever. Take a look around, look at all the newbies. Big respect and a round of, well, I said it wouldn't, but go on, give yourself a round of applause for you guys. Everyone else has been before, right? So I'm not going to bother asking that. But what I would like to know is who in here was at the very first one. Thank you. Round of applause to these guys. Oh man, when I think back to when we were in the Wolversdean Club, that very first one, that feels like a very, very long time ago. Feels like a very long time ago indeed. I would also like to give a special acknowledgement to somebody who, had he not given his time and his energy, I tell you now, it would not be possible at all to be doing this 14 years after the unfortunate situation that we all found ourselves in when Jamie passed away. And that is Paul Gregory, who is sat right here. And this man here, not only has he given me 2 or 3 absolute gems of advice in my life that I'll never forget, he was the chairman before me and did a way better job than I do. But he is an incredible human being that deserves to know that and deserves everyone else's acknowledgement too. I also want to paint a picture for you guys of how it was like, what it was like at the start, because this is a nice setup. This is a really nice venue. We love it here. We come here every year. But when it started out, in fact, before it started, before the Gala Ball, at a funeral, there were people walking about with tins, raising money, but they didn't know what for yet. And one of those people that was really hands-on at the beginning is here this evening. And again, I want to give him special thanks to mention. That's Mark Thorne, who's down here. Thorne. Means a lot, mate. So we have kind of transitioned from a family that experienced a tragedy to then raising some money to now more of a community. And the fact that there are so many people here for the first time, people that we haven't met yet, that are guests of other people that they brought along as their plus one, that's something that used to be extremely weird for me. Like, I remember in the first or second Gala Ball walking around and feeling extremely nervous and extremely worried at people that I didn't know, because they didn't know who I was, I didn't know who they were. I would have to tell them, and that would have to then make sense, and they would have to realise, and I would have to go to that place in my head and through my words to say, that's my brother, and that was really hard. And then to be able to sort of walk about in the street and people to be like, oh, that's Jamie. They always used to call me, they still do it. They call me his name, and I used to get so weirded out by that, and it used to really make me sort of sink and catch me by surprise, because as I'm sure you've experienced in your life, something can trigger you like that. It could be a song, it could be somebody speaking, or a look that someone gives you when they know that you're going through something, and you didn't ask for that look, but you appreciate it, but it also hurts because you weren't ready for that. Yeah? And anyone who's been through any kind of grief knows kind of maybe that feeling, and I found that really, really difficult, and I used to worry about that a lot. So I've got 3 M's for you this evening, okay? The first is money. The second is message. And the third is meaning. And in my short time, speaking to you in this context before we get on and do heads and tails and have some fun, I want to cover those three words. And we're going to start with M for money. So I want to just go through and read. Now, there is, of course, a total amount of money that we've given out, that we've distributed over the 14 years, and I'm going to let you know what that is. I think it's pretty special. Wouldn't be possible without you guys and your support, of course. But I'm also going to, because I think this is pretty cool. I think if any one of us was to try and write down as many sports as we possibly could, I don't think we would have a list that was too dissimilar to this. These are all the different types of sports that we have helped since 2009, okay? In no particular order. But rugby's first. Rugby! Yes. Football! Yes. Don't want to know any scores, by the way, tonight. It's a Tin Pot Cup anyway, isn't it? Boxing! Water polo! Jiu-jitsu? Hey. Golf! Taekwondo! Archery! Gymnastics! Bowls! Netball! Triathlon! Hockey, cricket, kickboxing, tennis, table tennis, basketball, trampolining. Woo. Yeah. And as well as that, there have also been 6 defibrillators given out into the local community, whether it be at schools. Thank you. I'll tell you a little story about that. We were sort of faced with our own version of a challenge that everybody had in 2020. And as a charity, our challenge was, well, what are we going to do? Because we have an obligation. As a charity, believe it or not, you actually have to spend the money or you can be under threat, right? Which is great, of course it is, because you raise money in a night like this and it needs to go out and you need to stick to what you promise. So we were in a situation where no sports clubs are doing anything. It's really difficult to get hold of the sports clubs because they don't know their arse from their elbow right now. They're not sure what's going on either. So we sat around the table as a committee and we decided that one of the things that we possibly could do is buy up a load of defibrillators and give them out to places that they didn't have any. And thankfully, none of them had to be used, of course, but the fact that they're there is something that is really, really, really important in this day and age. and it has got a lot of headlines, and it needs to get more headlines, because that intervention can be the difference between somebody living and someone not. So giving out those 6 into the local community, that was something that we recently did as well, a couple of years ago, that we're very proud of. And we have also supported, along the journey, a handful of people that have represented their country or a professional club at the sport that they play. So there are lots of different things that we've done for lots of different people. The grand total of what we have given out to date, and this deserves a massive round of applause, is £143,000, 416.56. So nearly 150 grand, yeah? And at this point, I want to take the opportunity to thank the people who are currently responsible for all of this right now, which is the committee. And I'd actually, sorry everyone, like you to stand up. Committee members, please stand up. Okay, these people here, again, would not be possible without the help, the support, the time, the energy that we give to what we're doing. Thank you very much for everything that you do. Thank you guys. And every year, it's important for me to acknowledge this woman here, my mother, who, I don't know how, but single-handedly makes sure everyone has tickets and things and all sorts, and it's just amazing what she does, so, yeah. So there is a big shiny object in the middle of the table over here, and I'm going to try. I've got to stay away from the speakers, haven't I? But if I walk through here, is that going to be okay? Yeah. I would like to come and stand up, Nick. Nick's open, everybody. First of all, show the trophy. Give it a little spin. Hold it up. Okay. He's going to tell us a little bit about what it's all about. Okay.
I'm so bad at public speaking, I've got to follow this guy. He's like, Mr. Public Speaker, right. I'm trying to be the last man to take his jacket off. So hopefully it's going to be me. Right, so, prompt me, Tom.
So, what happened?
So, we went through it today, didn't we? Okay, so the
What did we do for you?
So the Jamie G Sporting Trust, they gave us £400 this time last season, and that allowed for 2 of our girls. So I'm the proud manager of a girls' football team, and under 16. They're a pretty decent bunch of girls, and actually they're some of the best in the country, and we're only little Andover New Street, yeah, we're in the top 5% in the whole country. So the Jamie G Sporting Trust, they paid for 2 of our girls to go to a tournament at Butlins, Bognor Regis. It was 2 girls who may not have been able to afford it, but they went, and we came runners up, which wasn't good enough. We needed to come first to then go to play in St George's Park. But we got an email saying you were the best runner-up, we need another team, you're invited to the finals. So we went to St George's Park, the training ground of all the England teams. It was a great day, and we actually won the whole tournament. So since then we've entered the tournament again, and we've actually just won our heat again at Butlins, and we go through and we play St George's Park again on Saturday coming. So we want to retain that. We've got half of our girls, so we play under 16s, half of our girls are only 15. So we're using, so it's an under 15 tournament, they're going to be playing to try and retain the trophy. On top of that, we won our league. We're in the Junior Premier League, which is one of the best grassroots leagues in the country. And on top of that, we just got invited to the Champions Finals in Warwick to play against all the other league winners. And we did very well. We won 2, lost 2, but we beat Leicester City, who were Leicester City and and people were coming up to us and saying, "What are you doing here? You're only little Andover." But we're on the map now, and I'm just so proud of the girls. But if it wasn't for the Jamie G Sporting Trust, 2 girls would have missed out on the experience. So really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Well done, everybody.
it's actually colder up here. Jeez. But listen, keyword experience. Keyword experience, because it isn't ever always about just winning. Of course, it's about participation. Participation is the key word. And that leads me in nicely to the second M, which is message. R, constitution, which is my mum's favourite word. She can't say it 364 days of the year. But on this Gala ball, she's always okay with saying this words thing. Is to increase participation in sport for under 18s in the SB10 and SB11 area. And for us to do that, we help the sports clubs, we help schools, we help in situations like Nick just described. You see, we're not a charity that is fighting against a disease. We're not a charity that's having this very clear enemy almost that we're trying to overcome. Or are we? Because participation in sport has drastically decreased. It went up a little bit before the pandemic, but then obviously it decreased and it is struggling. I hate to bring the mood down, but a lot of clubs out there are on their knees, a lot of schools out there are on their knees, and a lot of volunteers are giving up. And that means that less children are taking part in sport. So, as a charity that operates in and around Andover, that helps children to increase participation, I feel like that's a calling. I feel like we have to step forward. And I feel like we always have a good night every time we come here, but I want to challenge everybody, myself especially and included, that tomorrow, when we wake up, that's still something that you are actively looking to help. Whether that is, at some point over the next 12 months, doing a bit of fundraising. Whether that is, at some point over the next 12 months, volunteering your time to help a club. Or whether that is being a positive role model to your own children, whether that is being a positive role model to the other children in your life, and setting an example which allows them to understand that sport is 100% accessible for them, it's okay for them to do it, and there's probably something out there that they're going to absolutely love, even if it is for just 3 months, right? What kids are like. But the fact is that participation is really, really important. If I ask the question, well, I am going to ask it, and I'd love you to shout out answers, please. But what does sport give us? What does it give us?
Enjoyment.
Enjoyment? Confidence? Friendship? Happiness? Mates? Health? Fitness? What else?
Everything.
Energy? Everything? Headaches? Yeah, like chairman of the Andover Rugby Club over here.
Learning to lose.
Injuries. It makes, yeah. But it also builds resilience. It also builds resilience. And sometimes, like with this instance that Nick has described, and I'm sure that you can feel these moments in your own life, maybe with your children, sometimes you just got to lose. Because what happens in life is at some point you lose, right? At some point in life, something happens and it's hard. And it doesn't go the way you want it to. If it always did, it'd be a very different life experience, but it doesn't. And what sport does is it gives us a little safe mechanism to feel that failure from an early age. And in the failure, a little brain gets to sit back, and when him or her is drifting off at night and is sad that they lost the game 10-0, still happens, Sunday League to be fair, still lose 10-0 and go, okay, well, what did I enjoy about it though? Yeah? Because it wasn't necessarily about that score, it's the fact that I did it. I liked doing it. What did I do on an individual basis that was good? What can I do next time to improve? What can I do to have more fun next time? And when a child is asking them these questions, this very small, kind of meaningless in a way, equation of how can I not lose 10-0 and feel so bad about it, that then grows. The neuro pathways, getting scientific now, start to get stronger about what can I do when things don't go my way. But not only that, I've got a bunch of other kids as well that felt the same thing, and we're all going to go to training on Wednesday at 6 at the Astro, and we're going to try again, and we're going to have fun, and we're going to grow together. Then we're going to go to school, and we're going to play in the playground, and all this is participation. And this stuff these little pathways, this is what grows to become an adult. The children that we're helping now, they are the adults of the future. Well, it's obvious, but we've been going for 14 years now. So a child that we helped that was 10 years old back in 2009, 2010, is now 24 and probably has kids. Probably has a mortgage, probably or saving for one, struggling to figure it all out. Maybe got made redundant, all these things. And if you were to take an example of someone who hadn't had any participation in sport and someone who had, and then as an adult, have they got more or less tools of resilience? I think there would be more tools of resilience for someone who was exposed to sport than someone who was not. Do you agree? Of course, we're never going to know that, and there are going to be instances where that won't matter, but I wouldn't like to take a chance, because the great thing, of course, is there is an instant benefit, which is health. There is an instant benefit, which is mental health. Kids have got it hard. They're having a hard time, it's tough. Sport is a release, it's a bit of structure as well, and something that they can get passionate about and be allowed to get passionate about. Those things, teamwork, character building, those are all possible through sport, whether it's a team sport or an individual sport. They've still got to be somewhere at a time, be prepared, have their kit, take part, and put themselves under pressure. And that's okay, and that's good, and that's encouraged, right? And we're not going down the road of whether that should be winning, losing, taking part. That's for another day. But the point is, getting involved or not getting involved. We have a challenge. This community, our area, SB10, SB11, what can we do to improve participation? Because those people are going to be the business owners, the leaders, the movers and shakers of the future, as well as the people who are raising kids, our neighbours in 10, 15 years' time. Okay? We can sit and moan about the now, but what about these kids when they grow up? So I'm calling on everybody, not just tonight, okay, but for the year until we meet again in this context, hopefully next year, that we can all maybe share some of the things that we've been up to. Fundraising, volunteering, that sort of thing, even if it is just with somebody next to you in a bit of conversation. So then, what was the third M? Do you remember? Meaning, 10 points. The third M was meaning. This has got two parts. First of all, the legacy meaning, like back in the beginning, what was the point? Why did we do this? We did this because we were faced with a time in our lives where we didn't know what to do, but we felt like we needed and wanted to do something. We went around, we formed a committee, we got charitable status, and then we started to raise money, and we started to do things. We started to go and put ourselves out there, do cycle rides, fundraising. The clubs raised money for us. The cycle then began. Raise money, give back to the clubs. Clubs raise money, we give back to the clubs. We had to do something because we couldn't change what had happened. Of course, if we could say, would you rather have £146,000 going into the community, or would you rather have Jamie? You'd say Jamie, right? But that doesn't happen because that's impossible, and it's not healthy to think like that. It's only good to think, what now? What's next? What's next? So that's what we decided to do. That was our what's next. But the here and now, we continue to raise money, we continue to give out, we continue to do the Gala Ball every year, but we want to step up the intensity, and that's only going to happen through the things that I just mentioned. Now, personally, I know that sport helped me, and I've never really sort of thought about this until recently. Sport actually very much helped me cope. And I can remember a few standout moments and examples. I love sport. I've kind of made it a personal mission to try and do as many sports as I can and take something away from it intrinsically, of course, learnings, lessons, friendships, but also physically, if I can win something along the way, great. And I can remember turning up to the first football match, Sunday League football, with my friends, the first time after. And one of my best friends came up to me and said, "This is yours today," and gave me the number 7 shirt. Of course, that was the shirt that my brother used to always wear. And he was known for being number 7, because he was flash and good, not like me. And so they gave me, because like for me, 7's a nosebleed, you know what I mean? Like I'm like a 4 or a 5, but they gave me the 7. And they all wore black armbands. And do you know what? I just thought, and we did a minute's silence, and it was just, there was, it didn't have to happen, but it did. And that really helped me. That really supported me personally in my process of grieving and getting on with life. I can also recall doing a season of darts with my dad. And that was great too. And my wife Kelly used to come along and watch as well, and it was really great. Just did a year, won a cup and won the highest shot out. Don't need to do it again. Don't need to do it again, do I? Pure fluke. It was a 158 or 156, so down the walnut tree in Appleshaw. I'm rubbish. Treble 20, I was like, wow. Got another one, I looked at my dad and went, what now? He said, he was drinking double 18. So I was like, bang! Yeah! So yeah, that was good fun. But that helped, spending time with you, Dad, for a year there doing darts in various pubs around Andover. The martial arts journey gave me something to vent out on. I had aggression that needed to go somewhere, and I started doing mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu, and started to push myself to compete in competitions and really put myself in a highly uncomfortable. I didn't like competing, but I did. Ended up winning a couple of things in that, which was awesome, and that gave me a little bit of a world champion. I don't know what's going on. But that vessel, that outlet of punching things and kicking things, but in a controlled way, because that aggression, do you know what? It didn't last long, that aggression. Because actually, if you use aggression, you lose, right? So that aggression taught me that aggression has no place in this grieving process. Anger has no place in this grieving process. You have to turn that anger into something useful, right? Sport taught me that. And then finally rugby, up until now, like I play now, and it's really helped me in the last 2 or 3 years, just with stuff and life and stress and just having a bit of a thing to do that's there on a Saturday, and there's a room for improvement, and it gives you that journey, mentally and physically. So I'm a massive advocate, of course, and being the chairman of the charity, I have to be, I suppose. But I want more people to know that, and I want more people to echo that to their children, and I want us to be able to do more in the community. So, can I count on you? Yeah. Can we count on each other? So yeah, I was worried. I was worried, very worried when people used to come up to me in the street, and then it would click, and then that look I would get. But you know what? Now, for those of you that are here for the first time, and anyone else in the foreseeable, I'm no longer worried. I'm very proud, because you know what? We are the Jamie G Sporting Trust, that was set up after the tragic passing of my younger brother Jamie. And we are here to help increase participation in sport amongst young people in SB10 and SB11. That's who we are. And you're a part of that. You're a part of that mission. So, what I would love to do is, I would love us to raise a glass before we get into our heads and tails. So, you can sort of half raise it. I know it's hot and stuff. But here's what we're going to do. From this point on, everything that's happened and been said, it all starts here. We're going to have an amazing evening together. So please raise a glass for my brother, Jamie G. And for yourselves, please take a drink, put your glass down, and give yourselves a big hand, ladies and gents. Thank you so much. We're now going to do some heads and tails. That is it.